Great. Good afternoon. It is 12:46 on Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. This is the regular meeting of the Sandpoint Sustainability Committee. It's now called to order in council chambers at City Hall, 1123 West Lake Street in Sandpoint, Idaho. For the record, I am Committee Vice Chair Katrina Pielli presiding. Also present are committee members Christine Moon, Deborah Dickerson, Diana Duke, and Mary Wilcox. In addition to the committee members, City Council Liaison Pam Duquette, City Staff Liaison Katie Kenny, and Heather Faircloth, serving as board clerk, are also present. And Committee Chair Wayne Benner is absent, but I think is listening in listen-only mode. So at this time, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes from our March 12th, 2025 special meeting.
Really quick.
I have a question. Is Pam in attendance?
There's a delay. Go ahead.
No, Pam is not in attendance.
Okay, just
She
wanted to
wasn't sure
clarify
she
that.
was- Thank you.
Thank you for that.
Okay.
And just for the record, Diana is also not, oh, yeah, you are.
I'm Deb.
Deb, okay, sorry, I don't know everybody yet.
No, it's fine.
For the record, Diana is not here either.
Perfect. Thank you for that.
So now we'll just need a
Is there a
motion.
motion to approve the minutes from the March 12th meeting?
I so move.
Second.
Second.
No.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, the motion passes and the minutes are approved as presented. So should we go ahead and take a motion to move the agenda around and tackle the new business first? Was that what I heard?
That's up to you guys if you would like to address the issue of a new time or not.
I
Uh,
move,
Go ahead.
I move that we move the new business up to primary for old, before
Second.
the old.
Perfect.
Second.
All right, and the ayes, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Perfect. Any opposed? All right, motion passed. Let's dive into the new business then. From the agenda, that was to discuss and choose a new regular meeting time so that we can maximize participation. Would be welcome to open the floor. We can also just propose to do potentially an online poll, a doodle poll, if we don't want to spend the time today, but just confirming everyone is interested in a new meeting date and time. Is that correct?
I'm not. I have this through my calendar through the year, and I have no idea when I could regularly make a meeting outside of this time. So, and I'm absolutely open to discussion. But when I saw the agenda item, which I totally understand, I was like, crap. Sorry.
There's no other day or time that you
I
could make
could
available.
consider Monday,
At what time?
like around this time or later. But I don't want to be the determining factor, so Tuesdays and Thursdays, like I have to go look at my cat to see what works. And anyway.
I looked at my calendar, the calendar for Chambers, the calendar for Wayne, also discussing it with Diana Duke. And out of all of those, the fourth Thursday at 9 a.m. See, you're not available.
I have client meetings scheduled throughout the days on Tuesdays and Thursdays, so I have to move client appointments, which, anyway.
Okay.
Let me look. Let me see how much work it is.
Well, I think if it's possible, I mean, I want to recognize we've got like 40 minutes left of the meeting. What we could do is actually work with the council staff and room availability and send out a doodle poll for folks to respond to online based on room availability. And that way we could try to tackle it that way.
I guess my concern with that is we tried the doodle poll for the special meeting and nobody responded to it.
I responded to it. I agree. I would rather
too.
the doodle and deal with the issues around the doodle, because I think it's more effective. In terms of my schedule, I also work and I travel out of town. And so there's no time that I can say 100% I would be able to be present. I could say 95%. If I can't be present in person, I can participate remotely. So
Okay.
changing the meeting time isn't a guarantee that I'm going to be there remotely, but this is a good time for me to participate remotely or in person.
The concern came from when I discussed it with Wayne, is that we barely had a quorum today. And we did not have a quorum last month because the day and time. And so it's either we figure out a new time, or we don't have the sustainability committee, or we find new committee members. And I'm not trying to give
Yeah.
you guys like ultimatums or anything like that, but it's just, you can't have a committee if nobody can find time to show up. And I understand that you guys work, we all work, that's not, there has to be some type of compromise that we can all get on the same page with.
So it seems like we need a doodle then, right? And that we need the other people who aren't here today to be participating as well.
Well, I spoke with Wayne and Pam and Diana, and I have their schedules so that it could be discussed today.
Oh, perfect. Okay, well then, within that window of time that you have, plus the staff and the room availability, was Thursday at 9 a.m. the only option? Was that correct?
It wasn't, no, it was just what time
I
I
have to move, I would have to move an appointment every single one to clear up 9
okay.
and maybe 2, depending on.
Is there a Monday?
Yeah, my Mondays are open. So
How does everybody feel about Monday?
Monday is not a good time for me. I have lots of standing meetings.
okay.
So this is where it comes in, that even if we have the doodle, your guys' schedules conflict.
I have a question about a quorum. Would it be possible to add members to the committee and make it more likely to have a quorum?
That's
But
up
the-
to the mayor.
Quorum
Yeah.
increases, right? Like,
Yeah, the more committee members, then the higher the quorum. Because it has to be,
Proportional is what you're
if
saying.
if you have 9 committee members, then you have to have 5 people to have a quorum.
Okay, so we're looking at Monday and Thursday. Is that what you're saying? As the options from a room availability standpoint?
So far, let me open the chambers again. One
I
second.
can also do later in the afternoon on Wednesdays.
I guess here's the
Um,
question, is changing the regular date and time going to help alleviate the problem? Or is it just that some of us have things that pop up and prevent us from attending, such that on sort of, on any given day, that could be the case? So I'm wondering if we're trying to solve for a problem that we might not need to.
I hear that too. So Diana, and I remember she mentioned this when the meeting
hard.
day and time was scheduled and she got overruled. She's not available Tuesday or Thursday from 11 to 2. She has a long-standing engagement commitment. Once in a while, she's able to move it, but her commitment is Tuesday and Thursday every single week from 11 to 2.
Can we meet after 2 on Tuesdays?
And you guys gotta remember, it's only one Tuesday a month. It's not every Tuesday that it's happening. Originally I had said no to 2 p.m. on Tuesdays because the way that my department schedules meetings is if somebody has a pre-application, something that they want to do, we schedule those on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'd be willing to just block out the last Tuesday of the month in the afternoon. If I'm the only deciding factor, I'm happy to do that, and it'll just be standing that the last Tuesday of every month, we don't have any of those meetings. But I just kind of have the time preliminarily blocked out for them. But I'm willing to adjust that if it helps everybody else.
I could meet later on Tuesday. I'm available.
Yeah, same.
Me too.
Tuesday.
Deb,
after
would that
two-
work for you?
Yeah, Tuesday after, I'm looking at my calendar. So I have standing appointments throughout the year, so that's, yeah.
So if we met Tuesday at like 2:30,
I have to move some appointments, but it's nowhere near as bad as Thursday mornings.
okay.
Do we know that Wayne and Pam and Diane?
Pam just wanted them in the evening, and I said I'm 100% not
Gonna do
donating
that.
my time.
Yeah.
That's not. I have life.
Good.
So, Wayne preferred morning or early afternoon. He said he was pretty flexible as well. Yeah,
Let's float it.
so I will, if you guys are okay with it, do a doodle to everybody, or do you guys just want to
I-
agree?
Yeah, it sounds like we can just agree today if you have Wayne and Pam's availability and Diana's as well. It seems like we can just pin it down today, unless we want to do a quick confirmation, not a whole doodle,
I
but
would
just a
wanna-
confirmation.
Yeah, I would want to do a confirmation. Because part of what I'm seeing in this committee is people not responding to emails. And that's part of the craziness of our meetings is people don't respond. So I'd like to have confirmation from everybody that that's going to work for them.
Okay, I'm
Let's do.
okay with that, just sending out a doodle to everybody with the proposed new time.
And we're looking at the fourth
Fourth
Tuesday
Tuesday,
at 2:30.
yeah, just adjusting the time a little bit.
Okay.
2:30 to 4.
Yep,
Yep,
I'll work. with
so we
that.
need a motion. Right.
Yeah, motion to proceed with confirming the fourth Tuesday of the month from 2:30 to 4 as the new
Okay.
time.
I move that we get confirmation from all committee members, including Pam, the council representative, to
Council
click
liaison.
on our new time, which is being proposed at Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 4 on the fourth Tuesday of the month.
Is there a second?
Second,
Perfect.
Who said second? Okay, Christine.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
aye.
All right, anyone opposed? Perfect. Motion passes. Excellent.
Thank you, guys.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now until Katrina has to leave, you guys can go and start with your old and finished business, starting with item number 3, continued discussion of comprehensive plan chapters. And from there, I will allow Heather to take over because I have another meeting I urgently have to get through.
Thank you,
so much.
Haley. I'm so sorry.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you so much.
Sorry for the stress.
Do we need to leave a few minutes to discuss the bear study item as well, or has that been bumped
So we have to do them
in order?
order, and we didn't amend the agenda to amend that as well. I mean, you guys are welcome to. You still have a quorum,
Well,
but we only have about 30 minutes left.
can we do this? Can we work for so long? Because we're not going to finish item 3.
Yeah, you guys can work on it as long as you want.
So we work on it till, I don't know, 20 after, and then we switch to the next agenda item.
That sounds fine.
That sounds good.
So that way we get to that action item and
Mhm.
get back to that nice, gentle young boy. Cool. All right, so we're on 3 right now.
Yeah, I
Yes.
joined. I didn't know. I'm gonna try to. There we go. I was
I
like,
didn't
oh,
want to say anything. It must
nope,
be you.
getting there.
So-
Uh,
From the notes, it seemed like there was discussion of creating a subcommittee to move the work forward. Is that where we wanted to focus our time today?
Well,
I don't recommend it until we can at least get enough people present. Just,
but, well, does everybody here know what we did last time and how we kind of just what happened the last time we met?
Just what was reported in the notes. That's all I know.
Okay. Oh.
so
It's-
we went over the checklist matrix and then you guys had gone down and started, I'm getting ready to share my screen. I'm just trying to find it. You guys should all have your, yeah.
I didn't know what number we stopped on last time.
Is
No.
someone going to share their screen with the, so
I
we
can
can all look at it?
hold up.
I have it. Yeah, I'm trying to find where you guys were at before I share it.
Okay, good. So I'll just say what we did.
Okay,
Okay, so
that's perfect.
so it took us a while to figure out, okay, well, what are we doing with this thing, right? Because we have this huge matrix. And what we chose to do is go line by line. And there's some that we eliminated because they were duplicated somewhere else in the plan and they were addressed. And then there were combos where it was very similar and we could just put them together. And then there was one that we wanted to rewrite. And those were the notes. That's all I took as notes. So that's what we did, Katrina. Okay. And
Excellent.
yeah, and the big question for me is, you know, I have my little notes here on this single piece of paper. What are we doing with this? Because if we don't manage the document, then we're kind of wasting time.
Yeah, so the repository, I didn't see a updated document provided. The only document.
That's
Right now you don't have anybody.
right now we have nobody who's volunteered. We didn't even talk about, I think I brought it up right at the end of our last meeting that, well, what are we doing with this information? We just didn't have time to finish that conversation about what do we want to do with this? Like,
Sure. So
any-
sorry, I thought I heard you say that you had eliminated duplicates and combined some. So I thought there was a new version.
no, nobody's maintaining the documents. So that information, other than the notes I have and whatever notes anybody else took, that's it. And the document remained the same because nobody's taken any ownership of that document.
Okay. My understanding of the purpose of the document was to try to combine all of the review that everyone had done on the committee into one place where we could start to do exactly as you described. Decide what we wanted to keep, to create a checklist, and the goal of the output or the outcome was to create a checklist that would be used for the city to put a sustainability screen on new proposals related to the comp plan implementation.
Oh, to me, that sounds like collapsing two things. There's a checklist we want to create for the city.
Mhm.
I don't know how going through the comp plan gets us to a checklist unless we're going to take what we think is important and then send it off to that department and here's the issues we see. I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. No.
Well, that's what I thought we were doing. So I'd welcome other folks to weigh in. That's why I had created the matrix. That's why I had put the read first tab to try to explain what the purpose of the file was. So would love if other folks have other versions of what we're trying to achieve. That would be great.
I like the idea. I do like the idea of a checklist if we think it will actually be used. Um, and I would also like the idea that this could be the basis grounded in the comp plan for a future sustainability plan for the city. And I don't know, because I haven't really reviewed other cities' sustainability plans or looked in depth at our own Parks and Rec plan, trees plan, the other plans that already exist for Sandpoint, what that sustainability plan would look like. And that feels like something that is important.
I like the idea of a checklist too, but I think it would have to be codified, right? In order for the city, for elected officials to actually use it. So there's that. I also like the idea of a sustainability plan. That's a much bigger, I agree, I would love for our city to have that. It's a much bigger task, project. And I think it requires like its own meeting or subgroup to discuss how that would, what the options are to make that happen.
Mhm. I'm just sharing, I can make it a little bigger here. The first cell was what I thought we were trying to achieve. So the purpose of the file is to aid the committee in the development of the checklist by organizing sustainability questions from members based on the comp plan review. And that could certainly feed into a bigger plan if we got to that point. So this was what I thought we were using the questions for, the comp plan review and the matrix. And so I'm just not sure if that's still where folks want to go or if we want to go in a different direction.
Okay, so I acknowledge I didn't understand that somehow going through this was going to give us a sustainability checklist. So I saw those as two separate tasks. I'm sorry. So anyway, just saying.
You're muted. There you go, Katrina.
Thanks. So should we step back and reaffirm what we're doing with this? Or, I mean, I don't want to waste people's time, right? Like if there's a different way for you to feel like we're making progress on a checklist, I would welcome that. I don't want to be pushing us forward on this file if it's not actually going to deliver an output that is actionable.
Thanks, Katrina. I guess what I'm struggling with is, so right now there's 95 items in this checklist, and say we shave it down to 30. So these are questions that we have about how sustainability fits in a given area. And by the way, I was late in delivering my initial sections, so they're not in here in the checklist that we have currently. So we end up with some number of items, and then that's our checklist. Where to me, a checklist is when a new project is beginning, say waste treatment plant, that there's some sustainability checklist that's a bit more generic than specific items. But like I said, I can see my thinking wasn't quite in alignment with, I was not understanding how this was going to apply to a checklist.
And some of these items too, that are listed currently shown here, for example, the question about 23 about tree protection and planting policy, that's really related, a question to the city, right? That's not a question that would come if a developer came with a project that the city was considering.
Exactly. Yep. So all I did here was transpose what was provided into a matrix. And then I was hoping what we could talk about was what are we going to collapse? What are we going to discard? What are we going to keep to develop that checklist? Recognizing that there are a lot of things here that aren't relevant when someone's going to come, propose something. So like Katie, if you go to the consolidated questions tab and you go to row 74, these are the questions that the group had identified related to waste management. And so I think, back to the idea of what's the objective of the checklist, if it is about when someone proposes a facility or an initiative in the city, that the staff could use these questions as a screen to consider, I think we would say, which of these do we actually think would serve that purpose? And we can pull those out and move them into a draft checklist. And then keep the rest for a potential plan or something additional that, as Christine had talked about, so not losing anything. I'm just personally feeling a little bit of anxiety about the fact that we've been meeting for almost a year and haven't really done anything. And this feels like a space where we had started to make progress by identifying questions and trying to move things toward a checklist. So, very happy to take a step back and revisit a checklist, but I just want to make sure we're not spinning our wheels here with no line of sight on actually finishing this.
Thanks, Katrina. Mary, do you have something? I saw your mouth move.
Oh, I was just, as she was talking, I was just thinking, yeah, we could go through this list. We could identify the concepts that we would want to be in a checklist. Agree. We don't want to lose what we've done so far. And I think it would be applicable to a sustainability planning document for sure, because if some of these things are missing, the questions that we're asking, then it's like, okay, well, we've got some of the things we have for a planning document, some we have to go find. So, but agree that this could be a starting point and probably capture some of the items that we would want on a checklist. We might have to reword the question as if it would be posed to a developer or to the decision makers who are reviewing it, the proposal.
Okay, so I can see that we tunneled down a different path at that special meeting. And I may have been the one to lead us in that direction, not understanding this document, and I apologize for that. So what we should start on is the consolidated questions.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that this tab gets us one step closer to the conversation. It would be helpful though if you have the notes that were the detailed notes of what you guys thought, what you wanted to keep or discard, sort of using those as you look at this consolidated questions list, because the consolidation is exactly as it described. So if there's additional consolidation, we can certainly do that. And then recognizing that your items, if they came in late, that I didn't add them to the document. So we'll need to do that as well. But in terms of the checklist, or do we all think that is still useful? So the purpose of the checklist would be when a new initiative or project is proposed in the city, that the staff could actually look at the categories or the themes that project or initiative is being proposed, that and use these questions to help them assess the sustainability of that proposal. Are we all aligned on the objective?
Yeah,
Use
I
the
am.
questions that we would develop out of
Mhm.
this. Yeah, okay.
Okay, because if we are, then I think we could just literally figure out what order we wanted to assess the categories and actually go through the questions based on the category or the theme. So we could say, okay, at this meeting, we're going to go over the forestry questions. So everyone should review the forestry questions in advance, the spreadsheets in the repository, and we can actually then move them forward and just tick through each theme. Otherwise, I don't actually know how we'll make progress on this if it's not some sort of structured conversation.
Mhm.
agree.
Agreed.
I do too. In my own mind, as I'm looking at these questions, So for example, the first one under forestry,
Mhm.
I'm rephrasing it, does the project proposal. You
Yep.
know,
Uh-huh.
and
Exactly.
every question could be something, some derivative of that.
Yep. I agree.
Yeah, that really clarifies.
So if that works, then what we could do with our time today is actually look at the themes or the categories and prioritize those. So that way we're clear on what we need to get through for the next however many meetings. And then in the meantime, I can actually add in Deb's comments into this and then ask the staff to upload a new version of the spreadsheet to the repository. And that way everyone will be able to review based on the order that we agree to review for the meetings. Would that work?
Yeah. I hate to be the person chirping here, but we're at 118.
Yes.
So I don't know that we're gonna get through prioritizing these unless we just go, yeah. If we want to still do the bear discussion.
Yeah, well, let's do the bear discussion and then we'll just start at the top, recognizing that city administration is not really where we need to focus for a checklist necessarily. So then the next, we'll just go down the line and just kind of alphabetize them. So I can work on incorporating yours, Debs. I'll send an updated sheet back to the staff. It'll be put in the repository and we'll just tick through as many as we can get through at the next meeting and continue down the road. And folks can review the questions in advance and come prepared with what their thoughts are.
Okay, yeah.
Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's 9 and 10 chapters, the only ones that are missing, because I thought someone else was a bit late
I
too.
think Diana's were late as well, if I remember correctly. So I think we've got hers as well. Hers were 6 and 7, I believe. And so, yes, we've got 6, 7, and 9 and 10.
Okay. Thanks, Katrina.
Yep. Okay. So I think we've got a plan. Do we need to codify that at all with any motions or anything, or are we
I don't
good to
think
move
so.
on to the bear?
Just confirming that it's just going to be continuing your discussion and everybody has their roles.
And the focus of the discussion will be on creating a checklist from the information we've provided and putting the sustainability plan later.
Yep. Yep. So I'll update the matrix to add in the missing chapter information, send it back to staff. We'll put it in the repository. The staff will alert the members when the updated matrix has been added to the repository, so all the members can actually review it in advance. And starting at the top, we'll just go down alphabetically. So I'll order them alphabetically, and we can just go through each category or theme and make progress as we make progress. And the goal of that review is to make any updates, like you were saying, Mary, about changing the city to the proposal. Do we want to consolidate? And then the outcome is just that short list of categories and questions that we think make up the checklist.
Excellent.
Cool. Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. All right. On to the bears.
The bears.
I'm not sure who's got that information, so happy to turn it over to whomever's got the details on that one.
Oh, I have it open.
Perfect.
So it was very well written. I was impressed. But basically he's proposing that, number one, we have a bear problem, and that he wants the city waste management to replace all our receptacles to be bear proofed. I don't know if that's countywide, citywide. He mentioned Schweitzer. And let's see. Oh, he also recommended that we find a wildlife specialist. He is a little harsh on the police in his write-up. that they don't have training. I mean, it was only harsh, and he was just stating a fact that like they're not trained in dealing with wildlife, and they, you know, if they have to, if there's any threat, they're gonna shoot the thing. And so he proposed some non-lethal things with you know, that you can chase them off. Like there's different things you can do, you know, we can do some education, but the thing that he really focused on is when there's a wildlife interaction that could be dangerous, that a wildlife specialist is called in to handle it in a proper manner. So that was the other major piece of what I got from this. Oh, and then also create an initiative not to feed the bears, which would mean no birdseed.
Right.
You know, like they'll eat anything. They are so what do they call it? Not carnivorous, that's meat only.
Omnivores.
Omnivores. They eat
Omnivores.
everything.
Do we actually have bears within the city limits?
I don't think we do. That's why I was a little bit, I questioned that a bit about how much of a problem is in the city. Outside the city, absolutely.
Yeah. Sure,
Absolutely.
county, within the county.
Within the county, right. So if it's a county problem, do we have a role in that?
I have heard no one say in the city or seen it on Facebook, social media, that there is a bear problem in the city. And I guess my inclination would be to advise him to approach the county.
Mm.
Yeah.
And actually,
agree.
if we're gonna give him feedback, he should provide statistics on how much of a problem it is.
Right.
Katrina just disappeared. Do we call her?
No, I'm still here. I'm still here.
Oh, I'm sorry. When you turn your camera off.
I just have my cat is walking across my desk.
No, it's
and-
fine. It's fine. I've just never seen Zoom operate
Okay.
that way. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure that it's a problem within the city and we don't have jurisdiction beyond that. Well, we
Yep.
don't have jurisdiction. We're an advisory committee. And also there are, Idaho Fish and Game does have wildlife specialists.
Yeah.
Have that as part of their job responsibility. So that's additional feedback. So it may be a communications issue as well. In terms of people not being aware of that.
So how do we respond to this? There are somebody write an email and then it's approved by the committee. I don't know what we do here at this point.
It, sorry.
It-
Yeah, I'm just wondering, like, is it something where we can just make a motion to refer it over to the county? Or do we even need to do that? Or is it just that you as a member reach out directly to him?
Well, who brought him in? Who brought this in?
He emailed the city directly.
Oh, he emailed the city. Okay.
He's a student and I believe he emailed all of the city municipalities, just trying to gather information on it.
Okay.
Let's see.
It feels like someone on the city staff could just write back and say that the sustainability committee hasn't, you know, heard anything or hasn't seen any evidence that bears are a problem within the city limits. And so we would recommend that he, you know, pursue other avenues such as, you know, contacting the county.
Yeah. Yeah, and it might be something where you ask the clerk to just let him know that like you guys appreciate his concern. But inside city limits of Sandpoint, it's not a concern.
Yep.
So if that's the way you guys want to go about it, you can, you just have to make that decision. It's an action item, so it has to be voted.
Yeah. I think that makes sense. Do we have a motion to proceed with that next step?
Yeah, I move that who would be writing the email? The
City clerk.
city clerk
Yeah,
would
yeah.
write a nice email to the student appreciating the submittal. And letting them know that we discussed it at our meeting and believe that it's an issue that is outside of our jurisdiction, could be a problem in the county, and recommend that he approach Bonner County.
Perfect. Do we have a second?
Second,
Great. All in favor?
I,
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes.
Now we adjourn.
All right, thanks, guys. So that's our list. Any additional agenda items in our last 2 minutes?
I would like to see if Wayne's not here today. We have discussed the possibility of not having a quorum. I'm wondering if we need in the event that you and Wayne and you, Katrina, are not present, if we need to identify a third person or a provision for a third person to step in, assuming we'd still have a quorum to lead the meeting. We don't have to discuss that today, but I think that may be for new business for the next meeting.
That would be, yeah, you would need to send that in as a suggestion item for new business at the next meeting. And we can discuss it at that point. But
Okay, I can't just say it now. Can we, as a verbal suggestion for new business for the
I
next?
mean, it can be a verbal suggestion. Yeah, I guess. I don't know how that works, Heather.
If you're making, I believe if you're making a decision that changes the operations of, it would have to be a motion to adapt that.
Yeah,
So, I mean.
I'm not making it, I'm just asking to have it be on the agenda for the next meeting.
Well, then I would think it's fine, because it's being added to your, it could be in the meetings of putting that on your next agenda.
That's all.
Here comes Haley, so she can confirm, but.
All right, sounds like it's added
all
then.
right.
Never mind. All right, that's it.
All right. Well,
yeah.
with
Really quick, I know you're trying to leave, Katrina.
Yeah.
I can't stress this enough, but I need everyone to participate or I can't participate. That means not me sending 5 emails to get 1 response. You guys aren't the only issue. I'm very frustrated that I have to send multiple emails to get a single confirmation of who's going to be. If, I take this seriously and I don't think it's out of line to ask everybody else to take this seriously. So if I send an email and I don't get a response in 3 days and then I send another one and another one, it takes multiple emails to get a confirmation of quorum. And it's exhausting and it's a lot of time wasted, kind of. It's like babysitting. So.
we hear your frustration and appreciate your time.
I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to be here. I'm happy to volunteer my time. That's not the issue. It's when I feel like I'm getting ignored is what gets frustrating. So just.
All right,
Yeah,
understood.
like I said, you guys aren't the only ones. It's not. But yeah, if you want to adjourn the meeting, Katrina, I think we're.
Yeah, well, thanks everyone. So no further business on the agenda. So the meeting is now adjourned at 1:31 p.m.
Thank
Thank you
you,
so much.
everybody.
Thank
Bye, guys.
you.
Take care. Bye.
Enjoy your day.